It is summertime, June 23rd, and a full moon. The full moon in Capricorn in 2021. And we
Surprise!
hey are taking a family stroll, a nature walk here on the Ohlone Greenway. Sorry for the audio, I didn't bring my headphones. But hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, and I'm standing under some beautiful California dogwoods, which are smell for pollinators. And we've been identifying some plant friends, native and naturalized alike. It's like a couple blocks past the Black Lives Matter mural, which is right in front of the DMV here in the Bay Area. And I just want to tell a little story involving the plants. So we're walking along and identifying blackberries, nasturtium, yarrow. What else did we see? Basil. Awesome, because I saw it at exactly 111, the time and the plant of intention setting. And shortly thereafter, as we're walking, we're also collecting, I'm a member of, several groups, but one of them being several black gardening and nature groups and magical groups, and one of them being plant pinching. So we were scooping up some Shasta daisies, forget-me-nots, a bit of nasturtium, some wild dandelion. Yeah, a borage. Oh, a borage. Can't believe R.I.P. borage. Whew, yeah. And here comes a bridge, which we need. So yeah, we're doing that, and then we're going along with the wagon, with the plants, identifying them. T is running around, sprinkling everybody with flowers and leaves and shouting surprise. And we're walking over the Black Lives Matter sign, which you can read when you go from north to south. And we're walking from south to north, walking up Matter, and at the part of lives, before we get to the black, my companion, who is completely unmelanated, says, "How far are we gonna go?" And I'm like, we can't even get to the word black. You can't walk over the word black. And I first saw this mural on Juneteenth. The ancestors guided me to see it. Though I walk this way every day, we live several blocks down, and so I usually don't go that far. I usually get this far, which is here, the bridge. And, just before the bridge, at my favorite rose bush, because the roses are aromatic, and they actually do remind me of the roses of my companion. Whew. And, yeah, so I kind of, you know me, you should know me. I kind of flipped out. I was like, what? So yeah, I used to just come up to here, where I've made a few cottagecore picnics. This is a cottagecore, cottage hardcore, black hardcore fairy tale, forget-me-not, maybe nightmare, maybe not fairy tale. Woo! And I'm like, yeah, so we can't even get to the matter part, and he just does not shut the fuck up. Well, I'm just concerned about the plants. I want to give them some water. The plants that we're about to pamper the fuck out of, we've just wild foraged from the roadside, literally under the public transportation, the BART here. And we're about to, I'm about to shower them with love and permaculture and organic goodness. And the water that is what I packed, companion did not bring water, not even enough for themselves, let alone for me, for tea, or for the plants. I brought water for myself, for tea, and the plants. to share a bit with the, well, actually with the plants and with the ground, with the land where the plants have been taken from, you know, borrowed, migrated. It's traditional to offer water or tobacco. And I, you know, like, I'm barely traditional. I'm like Afrofuturistic with it. A lot of it's energetic, but of course I want to bring some water. Like, you know, it's the middle of the day, and this is like a big time, like, long planned, like, you know, harvest. We brought a whole wagon and a spade. And so, yeah. And I'm like, and then, but he wants to sprinkle water on the plants that are about to be pampered as fuck in the bag, in the wagon. So, and again, T isn't even had water yet. Next thing you know, he's thirsty. I'm thirsty. That's why I'm like only recording this for me only, because I'm like, my lips must be dry as fuck. You know? So I was hot. I'm like, no, because that is not radical care. That's not traditional either. It's like that's colonialist care. That's like hierarchical care. It's like when you care about the most privileged first, instead of thinking about what's the least privileged, what's the most marginalized, and what therefore needs the most care. What should be prioritized? We set priorities? And that should be for the land, you know, for the child, for the black woman, for the black feelings. So I took out all the plants when he said that. I was like, and I just set them down. I was trying to set the flowers, especially these white Shasta daisies that he was obsessed with. So you could just make a yard of white Shasta daisies. I don't know, and neither did he, any medicinal properties of them. Not to say that there aren't, but it's like, why is that color so important? And like daisies, that's like a picket fucking fence. It's not a yard, it's not a lawn, but it's pretty close. So I was trying to set out daisies at the letters for BLACK, but it kind of, you know, because they were roots and dirt, because we had been transplanted, it kind of just looked like dirt. And he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just never shut the fuck up. At least he is cleaning it up, but I'm like, whatever, we don't need those plants, but like, it does feel like very performative, artistic. You know, I felt like it's the right message, but also it's like kind of sad, definitely sad, and maybe wasteful. And I certainly don't know if he gets the message. Still, it's just like, I'm pretty sure not, because he just can't shut the fuck up. He's like, well, what is this? And da-da-da-da. And it's just like, you know what? Thing about it is you don't value the sign and the performance more than the actual people and the feelings. And also, the reason that it even happened is because you didn't have the patience. He was like, I saw it yesterday, because I showed it to him. You know, I saw it first on Juneteenth, and I showed it to him. This is the first time T even got to see it. I didn't even get to read it to him. I didn't get to ask him to read out the letters for Black Lives Matter. And neither did my companion get to do that, which he should. He should care about T learning that. And he was like, how far do we have to go? So that was my response, to take out the plants and set them there. You know, I don't know if it was... I definitely feel like the story needed to be shared. And, yeah. So, moment of silence. Yeah. I will close with this scene of the rosemary for the ancestors and the rose bush.